Welcome, and welcome to the Global Business Talk Show. Always a pleasure to be with you. Today we are live on WAVS recording our show. It's a pleasure for me to be with you about what's important to the community, to talk about what we are doing in the community. As you all know, this show is being sponsored by the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. And oftentimes we bring guests, we bring people to ask us, why do we have a chamber? Why does a chamber exist? How many chambers should there be? So today we have none other than Max Olivier Carré to tell us about his experience with the chamber and why he's been with the chamber since inception. Good evening, good morning, welcome Max, how are you?
I'm so great, CJ. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. I often brag about the retention on the Chamber of Commerce. And today, as I invited you to talk to us about the chamber, I realized that there are over 4,000 chambers in America. So now if we take 4,000, we divide by 52 states, that's 200 chambers per state. And we know that some of the states are very, very tiny. In Creole, I usually say that what we need to be successful in business, c'est connaissance,
Kotak.
So, Max, why don't you tell us, why did you join the chamber, and why did you stay with us for so long?
It's so funny that you ask. As a naturopathic physician, one thing that always stand out is that a lot of people have issues with credibility. So what I realized that was actually missing, it was credibility, because people were trying to figure out, okay, is this guy is a spiritual priest? Is he into type of stuff? So Christian would have an issue coming to me unless I claim Jesus Christ. And it was a funny thing, because I didn't know that I would have to really claim, really be so transparent so that people can know that I am who I say I am, and I believe in science, and that we use herbs to really restore and keep people healthy. So I saw that if there's anything that can create that credibility in a very, I would say, quick manner, it would be joining a chamber of commerce that has all the credibility and all the connection. Once I did that, what really happened, credibility wasn't an issue anymore, because then when I'm at the radio station, they knew that, okay, this guy is legit. Political figures didn't have any problem dealing with me, because they know I didn't have like a hand behind my back as if I'm hiding something. So they knew exactly who I was and who I claim I was, and it made a world of difference.
And who you claim to be is a businessman who wants to make money and who wants to network, to be able to have access to contacts and people. And as you were talking about the political figures, I'm thinking maybe they thought you were creating a platform for you to go into office.
It's so funny you said that, because I had so many shows. By me, let me say point blank, I had to create my own credibility by having so much radio talk show. By me doing that, what I was doing, I was buying their listening chip. I was buying, really going into their mind so that they can get enough of me. Ever since I joined the chamber, I barely have 1 or 2 or 3 shows. And sometimes I would go a year or 2 without having any form of advertising being on the radio, because the word to mouth, the referral base, the connection, the association has actually been planted in, and it's sealed off. So even if somebody would have an issue, or somebody would want to snitch on us, we got to use that word, what would really come up is that they would automatically say, oh, no, we know these guys, they're legit.
Well, when you joined the chamber, I think one of the things that you did, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you said having airtime. So you reduce your expenses on airtime, but we still know the value of marketing. So
Yeah.
you had shift your marketing in a different way, but lessen the radio.
Oh yeah, I didn't have to. CJ, this is amazing because the weird thing is that we used to have to do. Uh, we were spending 7 figures a year on radio advertising alone.
Wow.
We don't do that anymore. We don't have to buy their love, their acceptance, their credibility, their listenership, none of that. And all that I give up. People don't understand. If I stick around, no, it's because I know what's good for me. In our good Creole, we say, no kon go bush no.
And I should say Bomba guy.
Bomba guy.
So today we're going to talk a little about the credibility and the money and how you were able to successfully have more money through your contacts and the credibility that you were able to build. And I won't dismiss the fact that you also talked about building your own credibility. And building your own credibility was about making sure that you know what you were doing. And one of the things that I always admire about you was the consistency. The consistency on showing up, whether you were doing your show in the morning at 8 or whether it was at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. There were no, well, I'm slacking today. I'm taking vacation with my family. You were always there. You were always present. And this is very important in sales as well as in marketing. So tell us.
It's so funny you said that. It's so funny you said that. A good friend of mine, he's a physician. He had me to be the godfather of his marriage, right? So I was on the podium and it was 8 o'clock and I had to, and it was right in the ceremony. I had to create a way for me to quickly be absent for 15 minutes to go do the show, because at that moment I didn't know a lot of systems or technology, which now I do know. What I did, I created a way, I make it happen. Unless I'm somewhere where I have no access whatsoever to communication, this show always goes on.
The show must go on regardless of our personal life, regardless of our personal issues. So more about the contacts, because I used to have a hard time people calling me and telling me that they wanted to buy my list. And the hard time was in making them understand that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. It's not a matter of me saying, well, hey, Max, here's my goats. Take them to the to the pasture.
Yes.
They actually have to get to know you. They have to see you. And I can brag that if the chamber had about 20 or 30 social mixers, when I say social mixers is when we have the parties and there's music, not the workshops, per year, Max had attended all of them.
And it's so funny. It was a big thing for me initially because I observed Sabbath. So I had to realize that me coming to the mixers even on the day of worship has to do with something bigger. It's the spiritual aspect of my business. So I made it the point, because if there's no business on Sabbath, therefore they shouldn't even collect the money plate. So I had to come to that conclusion for myself. Everybody get to choose that, where that I knew I had to be present in an environment where socially I became someone that people go to and they respect and they value what I do say. So when we're talking about contacts, the world changed for me. All of a sudden I start seeing like superstars, music, video performers, they all flooding into the office. And I'm like, why is that? Well, guess what? Although they were coming to see my mom, most of them, some of them do come to see me. What was happening is that when they said, oh, that's the son of Dr. So-and-so. Yes, we've seen him around. He's been on TV. He's been on the radio. He's part of the chamber. He's not hiding. It's not like a guy that lives in the lives in somewhere in the boonies, and then have people walk like miles to come and see him. No, we're very vocal, and that has allowed us to be that way because we know who we are, and we've done our due diligence to earn the trust of the chamber. Like the chamber knows that I'm not coming with any funny business, because reputation is everything.
Reputation is everything, and I think I watched a movie recently, Inside Job, where a gentleman said, "Respect is the best currency." So your reputation and your respects are your best currency in business as well as in life. And thank you for sharing that. They say that the general public is 63% more likely to use the products and services of Chamber of Commerce's members versus non-chamber members.
That's correct.
Do you find that, or should I say that sometimes people tell me, well, I've been on the radio for so many years, and then this show or this radio station or this program doesn't bring me customers. And I think other people realize that the connection that they make through the chamber brings them businesses.
Well, here's the way the facts works is that there's a whole identity in business that's called mom and pop. So I would be considered a mom and pop. Even there's a time I had 8 offices. It still would be considered under the mom and pop type of store. What really was going on for me is that I never got resistance anymore when it came to pricing, because they knew we have way too much to lose. So when we say it's X, it's that, because they know he's been around, he's consistent, and now we even added something that is so much more awesome about the business is that we also established the whole direct mail system, where not only they're hearing us, they're reading about us, and they're seeing. So that's why, exactly. So we're featured and stuff. Every now and then, when the Chamber of Commerce have its banner, the first thing that happen is what? You'll see Health Max Wellness Center in the back. So what it is, they know that these people have a legitimate business, and that's the goal, to be able to be accepted as somebody that's here to stay and not gone tomorrow.
You know, I'm going to have to spill the bin, Max, because you are one of the people that are going to have to share your success stories with FAU, because we had done what they call a success binder. So basically, when we speak to our folks, when you speak to our folks, whether as a sales coach or whether as a life coach, people need to understand that in order for you to be successful, you need to put the work in. So it's not a matter of saying, well, I'm joining the chamber, they're sending me people, and I'm going to make money. Putting the work in, to me, is having your business structured. And you could share personal experience or other experience that you have with other people within the chamber that you had coached. The importance of doing your taxes, the importance of understanding that we need to have a workforce, a sales workforce. And people, sometimes they're having a hard time, because you just mentioned 8 stores. You're the only owner of your business. It's not like you have 10 partners or that you have 10 employees, but yet you have 8 stores. How do you manage a sales task force?
So the I'm so happy you asked, and I'll gladly share. One thing
I
that
don't have to share it all, because you still need to make money coaching.
Oh, of course, of course. Well, here's the thing. There's no secret anymore about success and how to get things done and how to make money. It's all about relationship. Most people don't know how to manage that. It's communicating. So let me give you an example. I get it that every day when I wake up, I ask God to put 10 people in my path to help. And I ask him also to might as well put 10 people in my path that can help me, or let's say support me. So basically, if you listen to the Law of Success in 16 Lessons by Napoleon Hill, it tells you that as long you have a service or product that is needed, this is how you will be able to be of service to your community or to many different communities. So how did I manage that? I remember one of my professors, my sales coach, they always said that it's better that you open 100 store than to open 2 or 3 or 4. So the funny thing, what we were doing, our CRM was large enough where we had so many names and numbers in different zip codes. We used technology and research through census, and we found out if we can have a store in every city, then we can do the work. So what it did in turn, all our folks that that have medical background or that have medical training, we train them so that they can be able to have a conversation with our people. And the thing that I had to do immediately is to remove me out of it, because at the beginning I had to be in all different 8 offices and it was not fun. And that's one of the reasons I realized that it's better you promoting the business than you.
That is important. It's better that you promote your business than yourself, because the whole point, and this is really part of what we preach when people open their business, and we say you need to register your business with the state, because this is what's gonna determine the longevity of the business. So if it's always about you, it's never gonna work.
CJ, I wanted to interject real quick. You'll be surprised that there are people, because you get to see a wider variety of people, business people or people who have family members who are business owners. You know, the first thing they do, they go on Sunbiz, because almost every other person in the community has their mamas or somebody that's a lawyer or business owner or a doctor. Sometimes I receive those random calls, Dr. So-and-so from Jackson, like they think I would know who they are, right? Yes. And then they're checking to see, hey, is this guy legit? Does he know what he's talking about? And often all they got to do first, people always say, why your name is not on your card? I said, I'm not promoting me, I'm promoting the office. So when you call, I don't want you to expect, if my name is on the card, that you're going to get me first. No, you're going to get my assistant or many of them. And then they will direct to the time frame that I can take calls. Because if I'm not a telemarketer, and nothing wrong about that. So when you call, you're not going to get me. When you call, you're going to get the people who are assigned to do that. And another time we'll talk about business structure. So a lot of times they go on Sunbiz and they're like, oh, he's been around. So it's not like some guy that's working out of his garage or his home.
That's right.
He has a physical office.
And this is one of the things that Max is coaching me on doing. It's accessibility. For the first 10 years of the chamber, I felt like I needed to be the person that people would have access to. So people call and they get me, and they get me within 24 hours. And to me, I think this was the way for me to not only establish my credibility, my consistency, being steady, because people tell me all the time, I call this chamber and they never answer me, they never got back to me. Well, I wasn't going to trust somebody into saying, well, did they call or they did not call? So they call, the phone number is right here. And I did promise 24 hours callback, and which has happened. But as we evolve, and this is something that people need to understand, the most successful people will be the people who know how to adjust. After 10 years, it's time for whomever used to have access to me, have less access to me. And then, as Max says, they would definitely have access to my assistant until they escalate to the point that we need to meet. So Max, the credibility of being part of a chamber, has that increased your market share? Because you were saying earlier that you were not apologetic about your pricing.
Well, here's the funny thing.
Or is it because you thought all the chamber members have enough money to pay for
well,
the products?
I'm so happy you mentioned that. Well, here's the beauty about it. A lot of people always say, why don't you do business like the Caribbean? Or your products are X amount. I'm like, if you think you're going to set the price of what I do, you got something coming. I'm not running a nonprofit. So and you know,
Well, I need to correct. It's that you're not running a nonprofit because a nonprofit makes profit. It's not,
it makes
you're
profit.
not running
Well,
a charity.
charity, that's what I meant to say. Here's what really always get to me. You see, the average minority business never live past 6 to 9 months. And just because they don't have it, they have issues with pricing, they don't know how to establish themselves, they don't do the due diligence. It's a feeling that got them, oh, I woke up one day and I want to be a business owner. No setup, no foundation, no whatsoever.
Okay.
And the thing that is really weird is that the credibility gave me more resolve that when I tell you something, you can take it or leave it. Or let's work on something that can be more compatible for you. However, all that guarantee I gave with this price, it's none of them is attached to that.
Mm-hmm.
Understand you're going to spend a lot longer time, which most people don't. Often I will tell them, go do this and that. And if that works for you, then come back to me. Because it's often that a lot of times people have that cynicism that you're out to make a buck. It's not the buck that's important for them.
Well, I don't like the word "you out to make a buck." I think we should look at it as you performing a service. You're out to perform your service.
That's their point of view. My point of view, I know I'm here for the money now and the future money. So I'm here for the present money and the future money. So to me, it's a relationship. Money comes and goes. If we're dealing with a computer, all the thing the computer does to us, it shows us that on the computer, it's just zeros and ones. Mm-hmm. So when we're looking at our bank account, we see all that number. What it is, it's all coding. Until we got the physical cash in hand, there's nothing happening. Mm-hmm. So people fail to realize it's a relationship. My oldest wellness member or patient is 93.
Wow.
She's even older than my youngest brother. I like to call him brother / son.
You mean spiritually?
Yeah. Well, no, it's even older than I've known this lady longer than my kids. Well, I'm saying that is that to show you the longevity. Yeah. And we're so close. I go to their house. I can bring food to them. Mm-hmm. It's like I bought myself another grandma. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is that the trust level is so high. I will say something to you. My competitors who are not in a chamber of commerce, they don't have that trust. Okay. It gives me that competitive edge because people buy from who they love and trust and like. Well, love, like, same thing. All I'm saying is that if they don't have the trust, then they have a funny way of saying, am I doing the right thing? Their gut is telling them no. They having what we call the BS meter that says, should I do this or am I going to be taken for a ride?
Yeah. And you know, as you said, people do business with people they don't like and trust. We started our celebration last week. And why? Because you just, like you were saying, you just don't get up one day and say, well, I need to have a business. I think I should be a businessman. It takes planning. It takes planning for you to have the business mindset. It takes planning for you to plan your business itself. And as we were talking about menu pricing, yes, a lot of people have issues with pricing their products, and even worse, with pricing their services. Now, sometimes when it comes to services, they always want to bring a discount factor into it. And to me, it's still part of your not handling your prices in the first place. Because I remember when we started the chamber many, many years ago, and our pricing was $350. That was many, many months ago. We're no longer. And the reason why we did that is because not only we had to do a comparative analysis to see what were the other chambers asking. And we came across chambers who were asking $50 to join in. But as they were asking you $20 to join in, every time you were meeting, you had to pay some money. So if you leverage it throughout the year, so we were only $350 per year. But we had value that we offered, which were the workshops. The workshops were for free. So if you count that you have one workshop that could have been $15 a month for 10 months, that's $150. So the value was there. Now, last week we started the celebration, as I was saying before, by doing something that kind of shocked the Caribbean community. And I have to say the Caribbean community because our chamber doesn't only have Haitian American or Haitian members. We do join forces with other Caribbean countries, and we're just here to do two things. Make sure that you have the right visibility through your credibility, and make sure that your revenue increase. I'm going to take a segue and said, I remember one of your lawyer friends came from Jersey, and he called and he says, well, I'm new in this town. I have my law practice in Jersey, and I wanted to find out about the Chamber of Commerce and how I could join. And to me, that was a very good thing, and that was a very good move. And we had built this relationship, and he's still a chamber member.
Amen.
So how did we shock the community last week? Last week, we decided that we were going to do a business family outing. And I say business family outing because everybody who were, well, most of the people who were there were business owners. And guess what? They chose to come with their family. So we decided to go start our celebration with the Florida Marlins.
Yeah.
Let's go Marlins.
And they won.
And that was the opening game. And why we did it, because understand one thing, and I think Max will have a mouthful about that. You cannot be successful if you stay within your comfort zone. Us Caribbean people, what do? Crickets and soccer. I didn't invite anybody to a soccer game nor a cricket game. Why? Because when I look at it, even when we invite the Caribbean people to the soccer and the cricket games, they actually don't even show up anyway. You know? So how about if we think outside of the box and we bring them somewhere new, but sell it in a way that they see value in it. And as we tell people, and Max coached me, I'm in the business of marketing services to business to business that needs to make money or to grow. So understand that we had 50 tickets to the Marlins games, 50 tickets that I could have sold. I could have made some good money on those tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Opening games, it was the Marlins against the Phillies. Guess what? 48 people showed up. The only guy who regret not showing up, but I'm going to charge him for our next game, and I'll tell you when it is, his son had a fever. Well, obviously, I wouldn't want him to come with a child who has a fever.
Exactly.
And then with COVID, meningitis, and everything going on around to put everybody else at risk. But what it allows me to understand is that there is a niche in the Caribbean community that the Marlins need to look into. Now, understand that many people are going to go and say, DJ, why don't you give me your contact to the Marlins? And here's what I'm going to tell them. This is about relationship building. Just because you see us with the Marlins today doesn't mean that we just got to know them. We've had an established relationship for over 3 years, all throughout the pandemic, because this was something that was being planned prior to the pandemic.
Exactly.
In May 2019. So I don't have a contact with Marlins. The Marlins have a contact with me because they reach out. They reach out because they see the need. They reach out because they understand the importance of the chamber and how the chamber could bring more people to get to know the game, get to know each other, and make money. So our next outing is going to be on May the 20th. That's for Haitian Heritage Night. Well, not only we will have, should I say all the chamber members? Max, you're going to be there.
Oh, of course. The 20th. That's my time.
Well, we're going to have over 200 people in the section cheering up, celebrating Haitian Heritage Month, having fun, and learning how to like each other, trust each other, to grow their business. So
That
Max,
makes sense.
that makes perfect sense, huh?
Yes,
So we
perfect
actually
sense.
went outside of our comfort zone. So tell us
Exactly.
about getting out of your comfort zone. When somebody doesn't go out of their comfort zone, how it hurts them.
Well, I'm so happy you mentioned that. You see, the riches that you can really amass, it'll always exist in your outside of your comfort zone, because it is uncomfortable. Not only that, it is new. It doesn't keep you the same. It allows you to grow. And what typically happens is that, let's take the example, like you said, Caribbean people, crickets and soccer. What people don't understand, there's a lot of money around baseball. So a person that actually buys a ticket to come to a game while you are actually having fun with them, this is how connection is made. Typically in the past, we mainly did social mixers and we did events with artists and things like that. That's one way. There's many different ways to meet people that are looking to make a difference. I have some of my people, they actually go to the racetrack. Amazing. Some they go to either the dog racetrack, like Greyhound type, or they go to the racetrack that has to do with the horse with the chariot. They call them drivers. So people relate around that. This is what we call marketing to the affluent. If you want to crack on the affluent area, which any business nowadays, if you're not doing that, stepping outside of your comfort zone, doing whatever it needs, whatever you need to do legally to join some country club, or being part of some a subscription list with the Rob's report, it is so essential to do these things, because these are the things that's going to put you in front of a different group of people. Let me give you an example. I have a guy that I'm working with right now, multimillionaire. I'm assisting him with his eye health. Again, these are people that like to go see top specialists with all the alphabet letters behind their name. They're considering because they know, love, or like, and trust the person that they're doing business with, because there are some venues that allows us to be together.
Max, what are the risks when you do come out of your comfort zone?
Yeah. Well, the main risk of going outside of your comfort zone is that you can get big real fast.
That's the only risk.
The main risk, because that's where the fear of success comes in. Because they're both a fear. There's fear of failure, there's fear of success. Fear exists on both sides of the tracks. I would rather be on the other side where I'm doing things and I may be dealing with fear of success, as opposed to fear of failure. The fear of failure, it could damage one's mindset.
Well, I'm thinking if it's a calculated risk, if it's planned, shouldn't that make you feel comfortable? If it's a plan, if you're taking the risk but you plan it, because here's many risks that I've taken. I decided to invite people who do not understand, know, nor love baseball to show up.
Good.
But I had to have a selling point, which I'm not going to share. And worse, I decided to do that on Monday, Thursdays, when everybody says, well, nobody's going to show up. Everybody's busy getting ready for Easter.
Well, one thing that's so funny is that we tried that before. We did something like that before, where we did a social gathering during the weekday. The thing is, you see, whether it's weekday or weekend, the affluent, it doesn't matter to them.
They make time.
And especially when you're a business owner. Like I was saying the other day with a friend of mine, I said, as a business owner, I should have power over my time. So I'm getting my butt home early. So my friends thought that it was something else that I'm getting at home that made me go home early. So at the end of the day, if anybody want to really transform their life, their business life,
and their personal life, because Max, we have to take time to talk to those people about having the right credit in order for you to succeed in
oh
life.
yeah,
And
oh
that's
yeah,
the reason why I put the number for Pro Max Pay. Because at
yes.
the end of the day, it's about making money to be comfortable, making money to help others, and making money for you to grow, even if it's through personal development.
And it's so funny you mentioned that, because trust is everything. As we said, the minute that people start trusting you, you have banks, lenders trusting you. There's lists of lenders. They just want to see a certain parameters. Once those parameters are observed, guess what? You're in the business. The floodgates of heaven opens up for you.
Wow. Thank you so very much, Max. It's always a pleasure having you. Those people could contact you at 954-934-7921. Until next week, I wish everybody a happy Easter. Lent is over, but try to make the sacrifice of being outside of your comfort zone.
Thank you.
Bon, bye, guy.
Bye, guy.